Here at the ranch, I expect a lot out of my horses. And in return, I have to feed them the premium, best quality forage I can find. Finding high quality forage can be hard to do. So I'm gonna have to get beyond Texas if I'm gonna find the best quality hay in the country. On today's show, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. Where's my workers' rights? I need a break. All jokes aside, seriously, when's this gonna end? I'm gonna be taking you on our journey behind the scenes to show you where some of the greatest forage is cut, baled, shipped out, and it's all grown right here in the United States. Next to water, forage is the most important thing to a horse's diet. I'm fanatical about making sure my horses have the best quality forage, because if your horse is not looking good, feeling good, and his health needs are not met, he's not going to be able to do his job for you. My buddy Diaz here, he's been all over the country many times with me, and when I'm traveling, I need to make sure, just as much as home, he has the same high quality forage. So if I'm going to find the very best hay in the country to feed my equine partners, I know one thing's for sure. I'm going to have to step outside my comfort zone. Well, mate, we're not in Texas anymore, are we? In fact, I'm here in Eden, Idaho, and I'm here at Standlee Hay Company's production plant. My horses have been dreaming about me coming here for years because I'm here to pick out the very best forage in the world. So let's get going, mate, and let's see what they have to offer. Man, I hope my horses appreciate it. It's bloody cold out here. The Standlee Hay Company owns over 12,000 acres and harvests an additional 6,000 acres of carefully managed alfalfa, timothy grass and orchard grass. The 142,000 square feet facility where the hay is sorted, baled, bagged and shipped runs 24 hours a day all year round.
Good morning, Standlee Hay Company. This is Vicki. May I help you?
This is a family-owned company with a tradition of being the best at what they do.
For over 30 years, Standlee Hay Company has pioneered the forage industry.
The best product in the world's grown in the Pacific Northwest, and we take it that extra step here in delivering the highest quality hay you can get. We offer orchard grass, timothy grass, alfalfa grass, all of those in pellets, cubes, and baled hay form.
We produce this hay from step 1 to step 10. We do everything to perfection.
Our products are shipped all over the world. We ship products into the Pacific Rim, China, Middle East, and then also all over the United States into thoroughbred racetracks, hobby farms, retail stores, all across the nation.
The fields of southern Idaho were an ideal location to cultivate the hard work ethics that generations of Standlees have passed down from father to son.
We just grew up in the hay from day one. My father had us out in the hay fields. And, you know, we started out when we was 5 and 6 years old, rowing 2 rows into one of bells all summer long. And as we got out of high school, me and my brother wanted to take an opportunity into the horse markets because we seen a need for a high-quality forage product and started producing our own hay and started Standlee Hay Company back in the early 80s. The reason why we picked Idaho is because of the dry climate, the Snake River Canyon that supplies a consistent supply of water that irrigates all the acres throughout the Magic Valley. Whenever you cut the hay, you naturally can dry it with no chemicals added, and so it hangs the leaves so you have a real consistent product year in and year out.
It may be the middle of winter, but it sounds like I've come to the right place to pick up my hay, mate. The first member of the Standlee family I got to meet was Dusty,
Hi, Clinton. I'm Dusty.
Mike's son and company president. So what do we have planned for today, mate?
We're going to go out and look at some of the best hay you've ever had. And
Dusty got straight down to business and took me across the facility to choose my hay. So Dusty, where does all this hay come from? Are you growing it? You're buying it somewhere else?
We grow about half of what we use. We buy the other half of what we use.
Is there a particular type of hay that you prefer to grow as opposed to buy?
You know, we prefer to grow the specialty crops, orchard grass, timothy grass, orchard alfalfa mixes.
What is the point to that?
Just because we can control quality, we can control moisture better.
So the specialty grasses, are they harder to grow than the alfalfa?
From day one, you've got to watch the fertilizer very close, the water, because if you water too much or too much fertilizer, you'll get discoloration in the plants. They won't be healthy. So we watch it very close on a daily basis and make sure the quality stays good when it's growing in the field. Today we're farming about 12,000 acres of land that we manage directly. We harvest all 12,000 acres worth with our own equipment and own people. Very important that we get this stuff covered up and wrapped as soon as we receive it. We tend to tarp it within 1 or 2 days of receiving it in. It helps lower sun bleach.
Yeah, the tarps stay on during the summer too, year round?
They do. As soon as we purchase the hay or haul the hay in, we put tarps on it.
Because even if it does rain in the summer, it's still going to cause us a problem.
That's correct, yep.
So these are all the stacks, and what are these stacks? What are we looking at here, mate?
Each stack out here has either been purchased or grown on our farms. When we haul them in, they're all reserved to certain customers or certain markets. For, you know, people like you, we might reserve, you know, 2,000 tons to keep it consistent for your type of market.
Okay.
Clinton, let's go take a look at a stack that we picked out for you today. It's a nice stack of 3-tie premium alfalfa that would work nice in your pellets.
Righto, Dusty. What are you going to show me here, mate?
Clinton, we've got a stack of premium alfalfa here for you today.
Right. And that's what I wanted, correct? Premium alfalfa.
We reserve customer-specific stacks, so we have a lot of customers that come in and visit and, you know, pick out the hay that they need.
Now, pick it out once it's been cut, or they actually can go to the field and pick it out?
We do have customers that inspect in the field also and start at that stage and watch it all the way through.
So you guys really pride yourself on being very much a custom hay producer. You can customize the hay, let them pick it, it's their hay, it'll never get sold to anybody else, and that ensures what?
That ensures that they get the same consistent quality load after load.
Yeah, and that's what I've been struggling with, where I've been getting hay, is not the same consistency all the time. So with this here, even though I want alfalfa pellets, this hay will get processed in my alfalfa pellets, correct? Not anybody else's hay, but the stuff that I pick.
That's correct. You pick this out, we deliver it to the plant and turn it into pellets.
Great. Okay, let's put my name on it, mate.
All right.
And that's what I need to do.
There you go.
This is my hay. Don't be selling it to any of those damn Canadians
It's all
now.
for you, Clinton.
Okay, righto.
Sack number 1660, 40 bales.
While waiting for my hay to be processed, I had plenty of time to explore Standlee's Idaho facility. Next stop on my Standlee hay ride, I met up with National Accounts Manager Bob Buckley, who introduced me to their line of small animal feeds and forages.
Right, Bob Buckley.
Clinton Anderson, good to meet you, mate. After donning the required safety gear, I proceeded to get a hands-on appreciation for Standlee's obsession with quality.
Well, And we're gonna sort through this to make sure that we're giving them the best that there possibly can be. We don't want any foreign objects or any foreign material in this.
Okay. What are you picking out though?
Well, we are looking for abnormalities within the hay, like maybe a weed, maybe there might be some brown blade. Brown doesn't sell well. You gotta have nice green hay. Feel how soft that is.
Yeah.
See,
It
your
smells good,
bunny
too.
rabbit
Yeah.
would love that.
Yeah.
I think Clinton was a little surprised that we actually fed bunny rabbits and guinea pigs.
Straight after I lose my first fortune in horses, I'm getting into rabbits.
We know that these small animals are companion pets and are fed by hand, so that hay has to be really, really perfect.
The folks at Standlee are very particular about quality. Especially with their small animal products, they maintain very high standards, as I found out. The raw bale, I'm just trying to get rid of anything that even has any bad color to it at all.
Yeah.
Like any brownness.
I would, yeah, in fact, well, that looks okay, I guess.
I'm already costing you money. I was about to throw that out. Like stuff like that. Is
Yeah,
that right?
I would get rid of that.
Okay. Have you got to go through every last bit of it? Like, you're pretty particular, correct?
We are, we're real fussy. See, like all this brown right here?
I just would have wasted
Now, see,
that.
your horse would have loved it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly,
But these
yeah.
rabbits are a little fussy,
I tell
okay?
you what, these little rabbits, they got pretty particular taste buds.
I think he could have been a little more fussy if he'd have been a little more detailed, let's say.
Well, I've had about as much fun as I can stand. I just got to be honest
all right.
about this.
Well,
I got to move on. Okay.
show us how you'd weigh that
Right,
up.
Evan. So now you're looking for 18 ounces, is that right?
Yep.
Right, let's whack some of this hay on here. And what are we going up? 14?
Don't break the bank now.
No, don't. Okay, I don't want to be costing you. Oh, hang on here. I'm giving the farm away here, aren't I?
We want to ensure the correct amount of weight is in each bag, so the accuracy of the weights is real important, not only to the consumer, but to us as well. We always make sure there's just a little bit more than what the package says, so it's a good thing for both.
So the extra 0.2, it's all good? This rabbit's fine with it?
Absolutely.
Right, so I'm going to pull this down.
Yeah.
Push
Slide it in the hopper.
Righto.
Okay.
Righto, and then just lift this up.
Yep.
That's it?
Yep.
Righto, let's have a look on the other side. I want to see what it does. Oh, look at that. That pushes it out there, okay.
It is. Now, you saw that great big mound of
Yeah.
hay into that little bag, and he's clipped it, and there's your finished product.
There's your rabbit food, people. You saw how Clinton Anderson, this is your rabbit food right here. Righto, put it in the box.
So then we had Clinton grab and hold the bag as the hay was being pushed into it. Clinton, I'd like to see you hold this bag and make sure.
Holy damn thing.
I think he was a little surprised as to how much pressure and how fast that hay comes into that bag.
What am I supposed to do?
Hold on.
Hold on to it?
Wasn't that a ride?
I wasn't expecting that damn thing to come out. It's not gonna chop my damn finger off, is it? Okay. Holy damn thing tickled. Okay. And then, well, see, I already screwed that up, didn't I? That's rule number one. Don't ever let a clinician or a horse trainer bag rabbit food. You understand? Don't ever let them do it. It's a bad choice. Okay. Ooh, damn thing tickled. Okay. After nearly losing my fingers, Bob wanted to show me how they bag Standlee's popular Winnie Knickers.
We really believe that we've come across something very healthy and nutritious as a reward for a horse. These are our new Winnie Knicker horse treats.
Right.
When a horse approaches you, comes up to you, it kind of nickers at you or whinnies at you to say hi or to kind of communicate with you. So we thought that would be a great time to put a little love with that animal, and so we named our horse treats Winnie Knickers. And we think that that's a very, very effective name for that product. These are human-grade cranberries infused with apple juice.
They're good enough to eat, huh?
They're good enough to eat.
Huh. They are pretty good, actually.
Tell me, in your horse training, is there any kind of a process that you do in rewarding horses?
Well, for sure. I encourage people to feed treats, but it's got to be done in a certain way, meaning that I don't use treats to get a horse to do something. I use treats as a reward for doing an exceptionally good job. If my horse thinks he's going to get a treat, he gets nothing. So that way, when I give it to him, it truly is a treat. It truly is a surprise. It's something special. But when he demands it, now the good thing's gone away, isn't it? Now instead of you supplying something nice, has turned into you not giving me enough.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
It
The reverse
does.
role happens.
It does.
So these are definitely some treats that I would recommend people could use, but again, use them as a reward. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Right,
It
and so
does.
this is a relatively new program for you?
It is. It's real new, and we're just now getting to the point where we're going to be looking at adding some automation, but right now we're packaging them by hand.
Right.
But it gives us a good start on our quality control as well.
Right.
The beauty of the horse treats being on the table is we have many sets of eyes looking at the product, and there's holes drilled in the bottom of the table so the fines can fall through. So what's put into the bag is actual horse treats and not a bunch of horse treats with some hay fines. So we feel that that quality control is ensured to the point of customer satisfaction.
And this here is the finished product. Well, guys, you know treats are a very good thing to give to your horse, but you've got to use them in the right area. So these are the treats that I'm going to start using with all of my horses, and I recommend you do the same thing. Learning about the small animal products was fine. But what I really came to Idaho for was to see how the hay and forage products for my horses is produced. So I headed to the main processing facility, and that's where I met Standlee's Chief of Operations, Scott House. So what have we got going on here? All this hay that's kind of stacked up here on the right.
What we have on the right here is going to be all export hay. So all this hay is basically baled in 70-pound bales.
Right.
And that hay is going export. So that's going to the UAE, it's going to Japan and other countries like that.
So
China.
there's a lot of international market here. You ship a lot of hay overseas.
There is. They all have their own little quirks about what they want and the reasons why they want it. The UAE, for example, they are all about numbers. You know, they want the right protein, they want the right ADF, they want the numbers. China and Japan, who want a nice green hay, and they want thick stem hay. If we're looking at China, it's basically dairy cattle.
Yeah.
If we're looking for UAE, it's basically the camels and the goats.
Right.
And it works well for us because not all hay is going to be green. You know, some of it is going to be off color, and some of it is going to have a thicker stem or a finer stem. And there's a market for it no matter what it is. This is what we call press 2, and this takes a 4x4 bale, a 4x3.
And how heavy is that bale?
1,800 pounds.
1,800 pound bale, yep.
And it's going to cut it in thirds.
Yep.
It's going to put it on the table, and it's going to take it down and compress it to whatever weight we tell it. It's going to compress it into a log, which is then going to get cut into the bales. Press 2 is kind of unique in the fact that it serves all markets. About half of the production on Press 2 goes overseas, and the other half stays in the retail domestic market here in the States. It's going to take in about 270 pounds of hay. Once it reaches that mark, it'll move the hay from that side over into the compression chamber. The hydraulic rams here then will push it down and compress the hay into the logs that you see there. This log weighs 270 pounds, and the straps get applied right here. It's going to get pushed into the chamber as it is now.
Yep.
And then that gets pushed through that chamber, and it just pushes it through the blades, so now you have your 4 70-pound bales. The bales actually are cut, and they come into a quality table, and they're separated, and they're underneath a direct light. And he's going to take a chance and look to see what's inside.
What's he looking for?
Anything from dirt to rocks to rodents. You know, when the hay gets baled into 4x4 bales in the field, a lot of things can get picked up. So if we do see there's rocks on the outside of that cut bale, or we see that there's strains of dirt going down through it, we can start throwing those off to the side and start investigating what kind of hay we have on the press at that time. And it gives him a chance to see what's in there and reject it or let it go through.
Okay.
Clinton has got a ton of energy, obviously. So Clinton, why don't you inspect these bales
Right,
for
mate,
us?
bring it on in. What am I inspecting it for?
Well, we're looking for rocks, Canadians trying to sneak across the border.
You got to watch those damn Canadians. They'll get into the country any way they can. So there's a rock there, for example.
Very intuitive. He really wants to know what's going on. Clinton asks a lot of questions and wants to get his fingers and his hands and everything.
So this one's got no rocks, rodents, Canadians, we're good to go. Very good. There's no Canadians here, we're safe. This one can go through.
From the quality standpoint, we are unique in the fact that we have control of all of our raw materials, we have control of the manufacturing process, and then we have control of the shipping out throughout to the retail customer. So we do control all of that in some way, shape, or form, whether it be our farms or it's a contract that we have with somebody else. Every stack of hay has a stack number of where it came from and what grower.
Right.
And it's tracked through the process.
Like this hay here, for example.
Yep, this hay here has stack number 1533.
Right.
So we know what grower that came from, we know who ordered it, and where it's going.
I was surprised to learn that the majority of Standlee's export customers actually do what I was doing. They come in and pick it out in person.
The majority of our export customers come in here and buy it in the field. Now, we also have the retail market hay, which is a 50-pound bale, like we talked about. It's the same bale, but it's a 50-pound bale.
Okay. Ever mindful of their retail customers and distributors' needs, Standlee developed a way to seal their bales to minimize the mess and waste normally associated with hay products.
The whole idea for the customer is they can put it in their car. They don't have to drive the big 4x4 to the feed and farm store to get their product.
Once again, it was suggested that I become part of the workforce to increase production. So do I push one through?
Yep, you just push it up, keep it tight against that white rail once you get it on there.
Right. And that's it?
Yep.
Keep pushing it?
Just watch that go through, push another one on there. Pick up the pace, Clinton, pick it up.
Pick up the pace. I'm gonna get my ass fired. First day on the job, I get fired. Rightio, picked up the pace, Scott.
Then you gotta watch this process. This is really neat.
As the hay moves through the tunnel, a plastic wrapper is applied to the bale. Heat then seals the plastic, creating a protective covering that makes the product suitable for retail customers.
It's almost like a huge pizza oven that's going through.
Okay, cool. Mindy would like that, a Felfa pizza. On the other end, the sealed bale emerges ready for the final step, applying the convenient carrying handle.
And then as these bales come out, they're very hot.
Right, I can feel the heat,
We're gonna flip it.
It's like a massive, Subway Quiznos oven.
That's a massive oven, yeah.
One part of the process of the shrink tunnel that isn't automated is putting the handle on first, then taking the bales off.
Take that handle off. Put it on the bale and send it on its way.
And then that's your handle if I want to pick it up.
That's your handle to pick it up.
Cool. And then they go back down the line.
Yep.
We actually allowed him to go in and flip the bales on their side, put the handles on, and move them down the line.
Yep. So we'll flip that up, put that handle on there.
I gotta tell you, that's a damn good handle right there. That's my first handle, damn good handle. Righto, next one. Come on, pick up the pace a little bit, Scott. I don't want you making me look bad on my first day at work. Righto, next handle. We got one more coming in.
It's kind of like the I Love Lucy
I tell
thing.
you
You're
what,
getting behind here.
There's a hell of a lot of damn handles.
If you don't move it.
It didn't take but 3 or 4 bales before he was jammed up on that line, and it moves very fast.
Come on, keep this hay moving. When does the bale slow down? They don't slow down at all?
I'm not sure they will, Clinton.
Righto.
The machine can do 21 to 24 tons an hour, so it can really push the bales through.
When is there a break? Is this a union factory or what the hell's going on here? Where's my workers' rights? I need a break.
Generally, 1 to 2 people can handle that piece of it, but we had a little bit of difficulty there with Clinton.
Righto, come on. No, all jokes aside, seriously, when's this gonna end?
I think that kind of put it on a stop right there. Clint, this is press 4. This is a press similar to press 2, but it does 1,000-pound bales.
Press 4 is a very unique press for us.
Well, it takes a 4x4 bale and it turns it into a much smaller 1,000-pound bale in a sleeve.
And it's similar to press 2 in the nature of the hay comes through and gets broke up a little bit, but the difference is it's coming out in a very large bale. And coming out at a very high rate of speed.
So what's going on here, Scott?
Similar press 2, the strings are being cut. They're taking the strings off. It's going into a chopper. And then right behind you, Clint, it's actually getting pushed through the blades and chopped up into small little chunks.
Press 4 separates us from our other competition, and the main reason is the size of the bale.
This press is designed for space. It's to get it down to that 1,000-pound number at a smaller package.
There's a lot of pressure on those rams, isn't there?
There's a lot of pressure.
The manufacturer of that piece of equipment's intent was to create a sleeve that just 1 inch off the bale, because 1 inch off every row of bales gains us another row of bales in a rail car, which brings us closer to the max that we can ship on. So it's a freight savings. Freight's a big deal for us. I mean, we're shipping hay from here to UAE, to China, to the East Coast, and freight is a big deal for us.
You'll see it when it starts to come out of there. It wants to pop back out, it wants to expand, and it's super tight. We spent 3 months after this unit was put in trying to find the right weave and the right blend for these sleeves to keep that small enough. We gained 1 inch, but 1 inch is a whole nother row in a rail car, which is where we beat competition.
At Standlee Hay Company, going green isn't just a slogan, it's a way of doing business. Throughout the production process, they pay particular attention to the colour and quality of their entire product line.
The color is amazing, and we spend a lot of time on that. It's got to be the right protein level, it's got to have the right moisture.
As Clinton and I walked into the display area of all of our products, I shared with him the vast variety of products that we produce here at Standlee Hay Company. Well, from the plant that you've just been to, we've actually wrapped this bale and put a handle on it.
What's the point of that, mate?
For convenience. That handle, that bag makes it a very slick operation.
Okay, so there's no hay in the backseat of their car, anything like that. What about some of these other products over here, mate? What do you got going on over here?
Well, as you can see, we have a wide variety of forage products for horses. We try to make it easy for the consumer to gain more knowledge about feeding our Standlee Hay Company products. So we've got all of our bags listed across the top, as well as down here, and we've even depicted cubes, pellets, bales of hay, and some beet pulp products.
Very good.
Our bags are brightly colored for easy product identification. Pick up that purple bag or that red bag or that green bag. We've done that in an effort to make sure that they get the right product. The very elaborate feeding instructions on the back of the bag assist all consumers. Our hay is certified noxious weed free.
What's that mean?
That means that you cannot take any hay forage products or feed into the mountains, national park, state park, that isn't certified to be free of noxious weeds. The state of Idaho Department of Agriculture walks into our fields and certifies our fields to be noxious weed free.
So that's a big deal if you're going to go camping with your horses in national park.
Absolutely. We're not stating that there's no weeds in our fields. We're actually stating that there's no noxious weeds in our fields.
After learning about Standlee's product line from Bob, it was time to meet up with Scott again and see how Standlee's pellets and cube products are made.
This is our new product. It's a mini cube.
Right.
And it's done in straight alfalfa like these.
Right.
And it's also done in alfalfa Timothy, but it's just a smaller cube for small animals. Even some horses like the smaller
So
cubes.
this is just basically a big pile of alfalfa cubes.
That it is.
You know, like the kids diving into plastic balls at McDonald's?
Yep.
That's what my fat horse Diaz would do if he saw this pile of alfalfa. Oh my God, look at this thing. How do you even get to the top?
Clinton ran up a pile of mini cubes, did the Stairmaster work going up the mini cube pile.
Ta-da! There we have it.
And got winded coming back down.
Now that you're done screwing around, we can move on?
Yes, I'm done screwing around. Let's move on.
Right. We can actually get down and we'll look to see where the cubes are made.
Right, no playing around on the job. So Scott, did you guys not pay your electric bill? Why is it so dark in here, mate?
No, it's actually dark in here because any kind of light, sunlight or lighting from above actually bleaches the hay.
Okay.
So we don't want the cubes or the bales of hay to actually be bleached before they get to the store.
Doesn't really do anything to the nutritional value, but it's not as pretty of a product.
Where are we going to now?
We're going to go over here to the cube repellator and I'll show you how those cubes are made. So The pelleter and the cuber are basically the same design. So the pelleter, the hay gets almost pulverized to a dust.
Right.
And then it gets pushed through with steam, it gets pushed through a set of dies, and then those dies are forming those pellets as they come out.
We have a process that the hay has to go through. It's got to be the right protein level, it's got to have the right color, it's got to have the right moisture, and that's the hay that goes into those cubes and pellets.
Okay, so they're pretty warm.
Yeah, that's the hot
because
steam.
That whole thing there, holy shit, it's hot.
So the pellet itself is just alfalfa or just Timothy and steam.
So those are Timothy pellets, and you can tell they're not quite as shiny as an alfalfa pellet.
Yeah.
Because of the grass.
Okay, right on. So where is it getting mashed up?
It's getting mashed up in the hammer mill, gets ground up in there, and this die is just one big circle, and the hay is getting pushed to the outside into the holes, and the holes push the pellet through.
The cuber, again in the same area, does basically the same thing.
A set of dies all the way around the outside. The hay gets crushed up, and then it gets forced with big rollers inside, gets forced through the dies, turns it into a
So
cube.
really, the only difference between a cube and a pallet is the size of the die.
Exactly.
It's the exact same process.
Exactly.
Cubes themselves can be very hard and very rigid, and we have found a way to create a crack all the way across that entire cube, so it can break easily at several locations. It can be broken up in a horse's mouth. The horse finds it a lot easier to eat.
Right. So it's pushing, it's ramming it through, is that right?
It is.
You scared the crap out of me.
The cuber and pelleter is controlled by basically two screens in the control room.
So the pellets, you asked earlier where they were going.
Yeah.
Pellets are going into these silos.
Okay.
So this is all controlled.
It is a little bit of a high-tech process in there, even though it is a dirty and dusty environment at times. As we grow, we have to continue staying on the leading edge of technology, and we've got to do that to keep ourselves competitive.
This is the brain of the cuber pelleter. So
Okay.
everything is controlled here.
So it'll tell you if something breaks, something's not working quite well, it'll send a signal back to you. Okay, we completely shut the factory down. Sorry, mate, we're gonna get the hell out of your job now, okay? This is where we should stay in what we do and leave the experts to what they do.
The high-tech piece keeps growing for us. Obviously, just like any other company, the more automated you get, it's cost up front, but it's beneficial in the long run.
So this is the bagger. You can see the bags are coming down the conveyor belt.
Right.
They get picked up, put on the spout. The proper amount of weight goes into the bag. The bag rolls down the line and gets sewed. It's gonna get its 40 pounds. This is a 40-pound bag, and then it's gonna move along and throw another bag to it.
Certainly speeds the process up, doesn't it?
Yeah, this bagger should run around 480 to 600 bags an hour.
So it's getting sewn right there, correct?
Yep, getting sewn there, kicked off, and it goes up to the palletizing system.
And it goes into a very state-of-the-art palletizing system that flattens out every bag, makes sure it's in the right position, and makes a very square pallet.
Palletizing unit actually takes every layer. There's a robotic arm at the top, it's called a manipulator, and it spins each bag around, positioning it on the pallet. Then every layer on the pallet, two steel shields come in and cover it, and then that pallet presses up against it to flatten it out. And that's why we get these nice pallets
Yep.
that are straight across. Once the pallet's full, then it kicks it out automatically, comes down the line, it wraps it, and then finishes it off down here.
Right. Saves a lot of manual work, doesn't it?
Yep,
Hell
it
of a
does.
lot. So that's the end of the process then, basically,
It is.
for any type of pelleted or cube product, correct?
That is.
Well, Scott, I've really enjoyed the whole process from the field, basically, to baling it, getting the hay, getting it processed, right to the end part of it, that's for sure. Thank you so much for walking me
Appreciate you
through
coming
this.
in, Clint.
I can see why Standlee Hay Company is the premier hay company in the world. You guys take a lot of pride, a lot of effort, and you put a lot of integrity into your product, that's for sure. So I'm proud to be associated with you. Well, listen, mate, I've enjoyed my trip for two things. It's getting pretty damn cold, and it's getting dark, and I got to find my way back to Texas, so I'm going to look for a truck to get out of here. Listen, mate,
Good
look
luck
after
with that.
yourself. Thank you. Well, mate, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've really opened my eyes up to how much quality goes into Standlee Hay Company's production. You know, from growing the alfalfa and grasses to packaging it, production, they really take a lot of pride. I want to feed my horses the best because I expect the best performance out of them. How can you expect your animals to perform at their best if you're not willing to feed them that way? Take care of your animals and feed them the best. Okay, mate, let's head off to Texas. Let's get going. That's it, mate. That's my hay. We're heading back to Texas. See you later next week, mate. You're enjoying those hay pellets, aren't you, buddy? Well, mate, I hope you've enjoyed my trip to Idaho. It's warm here in Texas, my horses are back in action, they're getting worked hard every day, and I know for sure that their nutritional needs are being met with Standlee products. Listen, mate, I hope you've enjoyed the show. I've enjoyed bringing it to you, and I certainly know Diaz has enjoyed eating it, that's for sure. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next week.